Happy graduation day. Now, as a graduation speaker, I can choose any topic I would like, and I've actually chosen 3, but I'm only going to do one. Since I'm retiring, I chose what retirement means to me. In my mind, retiring is actually rewiring. I view this time as a new adventure, a change in what I do, a chance and the time to have new learning experiences, an opportunity to do whatever I please, whenever I please, and hopefully not have to hurry. Now, this could be a challenge because my husband, Bill, tells me all the time, you do not know how to saunter. But I'll try. And I already enjoyed a benefit of retiring. I had my annual oncology check, which was fine, so I go back in a year. So they asked me, would you like the earliest possible appointment like you normally have? And I said, no. I said, make it 10 or 11. So I don't have to hurry off to work. Now, I have rewired many times in my life already because I've changed jobs and or locations about every 5 to 7 years. And this is my 7th year of directing the mini-med school. My husband, Bill, also teases me about this because he says, once I get comfortable and know how to do something, I push to make myself uncomfortable so I have other things to learn. And there's some truth in that. I have to say that. It's accurate. The love of learning has always been a driving force in my life. And I think I got it from my parents, who were always very curious. Whenever we moved, they taught us that home is where you are, not where you were. And to respect your new home, you have to learn about it. Okay? So we really studied and acted like tourists wherever we lived. So we knew a lot more than people that actually lived there, typically. And that was great training for our move to Hawaii, because there is so very much to learn. And I want to give a special mahalo to Elaine. Where are you, Elaine? Elaine Flores, where are you? Back there. She and her husband took me out, Eddie, took me out on Saturday mornings and drove me around different areas of the island. And then we would have lunch with the local family. And that educational experience I've always been grateful for. It really helped me learn. Now, I enjoy the many cultures here, and I've learned that according to the Chinese zodiac, I'm a monkey, specifically a wood monkey. Like with every sign, they list a number of positive characteristics: leadership, positive, active, bright. But one that I related to the most, a strong curiosity, which causes them to want to bravely try everything interesting. Now, they did also add that monkeys are curious to the point of being nosy. So I'll try to avoid that part. My curiosity and my research training led me to create the mini-med school. My goal was to meet a need in Hawaii, respect the culture, utilize the expertise available, and offer a chance for a positive relationship with the community. The answers were, Hawaii is an aging state. There's a culture of respect for seniors in both the Native Hawaiian and the Asian cultures. And we have a great department of geriatric medicine and many community experts who are very interested in keeping seniors healthy. And such a program hopefully would better connect the community by us and be a mahalo to the community. And that is how the mini-med school started in 2014. Now, I love the mini-med school, which has been a great learning experience for many others, but also myself. I've learned from the speakers, but certainly from all of you. And my respect for your wisdom is the reason I asked you to answer those questions on the green cards. And later on, I'll share them with everybody in the room. Since I first said I was retiring, I've been frequently asked, what are you going to do when you retire? What are your plans? Now, most retired folks tell me they're quite busy, primarily doing activities they enjoy but didn't have time to do before. I understand that, but busy is not a word I'm looking for. It's particularly initially. My goal for the first 3 to 6 months are pretty simple. They're based on the 4 pillars that I used in establishing the mini med school: being mentally engaged, physically active, nutritionally balanced, and socially connected. Now, the first one, being mentally engaged. I'm going to read like crazy. I love to read, and I have hundreds of books on my iPad, and I haven't had time to read. Now, I read really rapidly because I taught myself to be a speed reader when I was a kid. As a nerd, I studied a lot, but I always allowed myself 15 minutes each day of pleasure reading. So I tried to cram as much into that 15 minutes. So I became a speed reader, which proved to be very helpful to me for all of my life. So that was really a good one. Now, I have noticed a difference in my reading as I've matured. When young, I felt compelled to finish the book, whether I liked it or not. Not now. Now I quit reading one if I don't like it, and I don't feel guilty. So get rid of the guilt, folks. Mainly because time is a precious commodity. No one can make more time. So I want all of y'all to spend it well. So don't feel guilty about deciding to save time in any way possible. By the way, you can get a lot of good books at a cheap price on BookBub, B-U-B, or for free through Overdrive that Kathleen described. Now, because I love reading, my idea of success in life was to be able to go into any bookstore and buy any book I wanted. I can do that. I'm really grateful for that now. I do it on my Kindle, but that's okay. But really, I have a whole library at my disposal. And what a blessing that is. Now, one new learning opportunity involves our oldest son, Bill, who is going to marry a wonderful woman, Jen, which some of you've met, this summer in Colorado. And I'm going to marry them. I now have my certificate, and I'm getting emails addressed to Reverend Virginia Hinshaw. And if all goes well, I might take that up as a backup career. I've also set aside time to learn how to use the hands-off phone in my car. After driving it for 3 years, I figured I ought to learn it by now. But little accomplishments are important to celebrate as well. Number 2, being physically active. Clearly, I have much room for improvement in my javelin, tennis, and Virginia would say so too, and snow skiing. So having more time to do those will be great. And this summer, the Jazzy Javeliers are going to compete in a national meet in North Carolina. But we still have the same goals: have fun and not be last. And there will be time to revisit my enjoyment of golf and kayaking. To be able to do the sports I like, I do need to continue to work out and refresh with shiatsu massage. And when I need repairs, visit my favorite sports medicine doctor. I continue to need a lot of help, and at this stage in my life, I ask for it. So don't be shy about asking for it. Now, again, how I approach a sport has changed since my younger days. For example, when we ski, Bill and I start late, take the easier slopes, have a long lunch, and quit early. That's probably healthiest for us. Another thing I've figured out is that it is okay that I'm not that good at a lot of sports, mainly because I've noticed that people who are really good, they often quit the sport as they grow older and can't do it in the same way they did when they were younger. Since I've never been good, I don't have that problem. So just enjoy what you can do, even when it is not what you hope to do. 3, nutritionally balanced. Now this one's a kind of a problem because I don't cook. Now we manage pretty well because Bill does a great job at cooking and I'm an expert on takeout. However, I decided to learn to cook 2 things: salmon and eggplant, because Bill won't cook those. Thankfully, our sons both know how to cook them, so they're teaching me. I have to say that Bill is not too excited about my being in the kitchen, especially since I had to ask him recently how to use the can opener and how to turn on the oven. I even made some oatmeal the other day. Now, it was not edible, but I'll keep trying. Bill is also very organized, so he has everything arranged in his kitchen. So he doesn't like for me to move anything to another drawer. Sometimes I do that on purpose so that he won't want me in the kitchen. For socially connected, I love being with nice people like y'all, and what a joy that is. The hugs, the relationships, the learning, the fun, all really positive. A good while ago, I decided to minimize spending time with folks who are negative, unpleasant, and literally suck the oxygen out of the room. So I'm very particular with what I do with my time already and will continue to be. I like the quote by Dr. Seuss, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Focus on the folks that matter." Now, as Kamal mentioned, and you may have noticed, I am an extrovert. But my husband, Bill, is an introvert. And he's really worried he's going to have to talk to me a lot more. I'm not as worried about that because we will continue to live in Hawaii and we attend a number of university and community events, typically without Bill anyhow. We have a code about attendance at events. If I tell him, "You will want to go," that means he needs to go. If I don't say those words, he's free. And we've had time to figure out what works for us since Bill and I have been married 57 years this August. We do get along pretty well, but we don't share well. Our house is absolutely perfect for us. Bill's man cave is upstairs, where the kitchen is so he can cook, and where he watches old movies. My she shed is in the downstairs area, where I have my refrigerator for wine, gelato, and chocolate. And I watch current movies. Sometimes if I want to tell him something, I just call him on my cell phone. We both have our own TVs and recumbent bikes, so we can use them whenever we want. We have learned what we like to share and what we don't, and that is important in our relationship and in many relationships. Now, we do share great joy in traveling together, going to UH sporting events, track and field, laughing, spending time with friends and family, and doing the jumble in the morning. He's better at the riddle, and I'm better at the words. However, we don't have a long bucket list of places or travel destinations, because early on, I traveled internationally working on influenza viruses, and we took many great trips along the way. We decided not to wait. Now, our favorite was the private jet trip around the world. Yeah, to see unique animals like tigers and gorillas. That was what we called our ski trip, spending kids' inheritance. And the article you have in your binder addresses this aspect, telling you to spend the money you want to do on what you want to do, and not worry about saving it for your children. I bought a book on how to die broke, and I'm committed to that goal. Also, we're using our resources to support programs we view as important to the community, like the Mini Med School, our UH Manoa scholarships in Hawaiian music, sustainability, athletics, and biomedical research, and other nonprofits, most recently Halikipa, who works to get kids off the street. There's so many out there that we can all contribute to. We pick programs for which we have passion because we know there's much that needs to be done. Our contributions may be small relative to others, but there is great joy in sharing your resources while you are still alive, okay? And able to see the outcomes. For example, your support has made the Mini Med School possible. So you're seeing that outcome when you look around this room. So you've done a great thing. So after the first 6 months, what will I do? Other than whatever I please, whenever I please. I love to teach, so I will continue teaching graduate students in the Mini Med School if needed. One activity I will continue as well is going to lectures on topics that I know nothing about. That's really fun. I realized early on I had to get comfortable with my own ignorance and look to people who did know about it so I could learn from them. And if they don't know, I can Google it. My interests are many, and I've never been bored, so I don't anticipate there would be a big lull in the activities I enjoy. I vividly remember when I stepped down as Chancellor, however, someone said, "How will you feel about going from being somebody to being nobody?" Okay. I have never thought any of us was a nobody. Never, never. Because we are no longer engaged in a certain position. A position does not define who we are. I used this belief a lot when I was dealing with people having a meltdown or saying kind of nasty remarks or whatever to me. Because I'd say, in my head, they're talking to the position, not me as a person. Because they don't know me as a person. And that was a good way to look at it. It kept it from being so personal. Now I know, when I step down from this one, I'll know that people have to speak to me as a person. And that's always good. There's certainly aspects I will miss. The biggest one is no longer being director of the mini-med school. I so enjoy interacting with all of you, helping the speakers become better speakers on the input we give them, constructing talks that I give, solving problems that arise, and working with a great team of folks. These are all very special to me, and I know that Kamal, as my successor, will enjoy those same aspects and do a great job. Now, whenever I've changed jobs, I've always told my successor, "You have different skills than I do, and isn't that wonderful? Because you'll bring new perspectives and new skills to the position." And I think that's a real positive. So I'm excited about my new adventure. And since we're staying here in Hawaii, I'll have the chance to continue many aspects of the job, of the life I now enjoy. I have to get off that job word. But always know when I think of you and the mini-med school, my heart will smile. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you. Thank you. Mahalo, you're a great group.